You know, this album I'm going to be talking about here, probably one of the most magnificent masterpiece of an album. I mean, this is Bob freaking Dylan here. Hey, 1975 15th album here in the United States. And of course, that's the magnificent Blood on the Tracks. This is the 2003 mix, and it sounds fantastic. See, Dylan was really just letting his emotions out on this album, and I think it's just one of the most incredible things ever. And that album alone just really reminds me of this album here, Blonde on Blonde. Funny how it has B in it, you know. Um, but Bob Dylan, he was really, 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 you know, laser focused on just everything about his life, everything about what he was going through. It's probably one of the most personal albums, you know. Of course, Bob Dylan had straight up said that this is not really about him and his personal life, but I think it does a little bit to, you know, not to say that I think it's autobiographical or autobiographical, you know. I think it's about his, you know, his stance with Sarah, you know, and just a few years later they would sadly and unfortunately get divorced, and you know, Dylan went through the you know, some hard pain from that, you know. But anyways, this is a masterpiece. I mean, it's on Rolling Stone magazine. It's on even some of these songs are on, you know, the 500 greatest songs of all time. You know, um, the album was released January 20th, 1975, and the album was supposed to be released around Christmas of '74. But I think the Columbia Records, since he rejoined with Columbia again, um, they're telling him that some of these tracks aren't, you know, they're telling him, you know, some of these tracks need to be redone. Maybe some of them need to be kind of, you know, changed up a little bit. And so that's what Dylan did. Um, it was recorded from September. Now, between September, this is when he was recording in New York City, and of course, some of the tracks were a bit, you know, in different keys and stuff. I believe most of them you can actually hear from the More Blood, More Tracks bootleg from several years ago. Um, and then December the 27th and 30th, just before the new year, Dylan recorded um, the rest of the five other songs from in Minneapolis, where he was living in. So A&R Studios in New York City and then Minneapolis. This was produced by Phil Ramone. I believe Phil wanted to produce with Dylan here, but of course, I believe Dylan was also kind of a part in producing as well. Um, yeah, so as you may know, this of course was you know, a number one album. I mean, ever since the previous album, Planet Waves, since that was on Asylum Records, that was the number one album for Dylan. And I think albums going forward, I think some of his albums were reaching number one. Um, so yeah, it kind of started with Mike Bloomfield. He got together with his old, you know, guy that he played with, you know, that he played on all the Dylan, you know, '60s albums and stuff. And he got together with him, and unfortunately, it didn't work too well. You know, he couldn't keep the pace of what Dylan was going for, and Dylan would maybe change a measure or a key or something, and that kind of made Mike feel a little iffy. You know, he felt a little frustrated, and you know, it didn't work out with him. So so yeah, most people can say that this is maybe about Dylan's time with Sarah and stuff. Also, it could be about, well, Akon Chekhov or whatever, you know, that famous Russian poet. He said that on, I think it was from the Chronicles, I believe. Chronicles Volume 1, he claimed that it was mostly on the Chekhov short stories and stuff. But, yeah, some brilliant players too, as well. Not only Bob Dylan, but Eric Weisberg on acoustic guitar, Buddy Cage, um, Billy Peterson on bass, Bill Berg on drums. This is what a great sounding album. Really does not sound dated at all. I think these songs are they just sound so current, and they're just like brilliant written songs. So what can be said? But anyways, let's go ahead and get started with the first track, "Tangled Up in Blue." Of course, this was a hit for Dylan. It went to number 31, I believe, in the early part of '75. It was recorded in Minneapolis, so it was recorded in December of '74. And just what a great opening song! I mean, we had "Planet Waves." The opening track for that album was "On a Night Like This." The opening track on the unauthorized Dylan album, "Lily of the West." The opening track for Pat Garrett Billy Kid was "Billy One," the Billy One theme. And then, and of course, 1970, New Morning was "If Not For You," and of course, "All the Tide Horses." Just to get to here, what a brilliantly written song, of course. It's like, what a magnificent song. And just the first lines of these songs, or the first line of this first verse. "Early one morning, the sun was shining. I was laying in my bed, wondering if she'd change at all, if her hair was still red." And you can just, as he's singing this song, it just feels like you're with it. You feel like you're with Dylan here. You're on that ride. You're on that road. It's just such a really flowing song. I mean, just the way Dylan is playing the acoustic, the drums by Bill Berg. It's like, what an excellent, really great, just feel like you're just with Dylan throughout the whole entire song, and you can just hear the storytelling here. You can tell what he's trying to say about these characters and stuff. It's just, what a song. And the last line here, "But she never escaped my mind, and I just grew tangled up in blue." And you can tell from each verse, and some of these songs too. I mean, several songs here on this album, you can distinctively hear Dylan end the verse with the actual song. Blah blah blah, tangled up in blue. Blah blah blah, tangled up in blue. Blah blah blah, with a simple twist of fate. Blah blah blah, with a simple twist of fate, and shelter from the storm. And just really excellent work. Yeah, we just saw it from a different point of view, tangled up in blue. What a magnificent song. And then the second one, what another 1-2-3. I mean, 1-2 punch, simple twist of fate, recorded September '74 in New York City. And this is really, I mean, just like with some of these lyrics, like, anyone, anybody can relate to any of this stuff here. Um, Simple Twist of Fate, I believe this is maybe about, kind of a pairing of two that seem, maybe they got to go and break up, or kind of let things go, kind of, if you will. Or maybe it's about, I've heard things about, prostitution, maybe, perhaps, or let's just say that, it's about struggling endeavors of love or romance or whatever. And this line is really good. I like this one. "'Twas then he felt alone and wished that he'd gone straight and watched over for a simple twist of fate." So once again, every ending verse, he says "simple twist of fate" or whatever, and then the song. Um, yeah, he woke up, the room was bare, and he didn't see her anywhere. He told himself he didn't care, pushed the window open wide, felt an emptiness inside to which he just could not relate, brought on by a simple twist of fate. It's like, man, just like what a switch, you know. But man, I mean, just for days you can talk about these songs. I'm just gonna cut through these pretty short. Third track is "You're a Big Girl Now," recorded in Minneapolis, December '74. What a song, man! It's just like I really love the beautiful chords in this song, and just like what a magnificent Dylan composition here. It really reminds me a lot of somewhat like I mentioned here, Blonde on Blonde a little bit. Songs like mostly you go your way and I go mine. Like this definitely has a little bit of that. Like here on just this first stanza, our conversation was short and sweet and nearly swept me off my feet. And I'm back in the rain and you're on dry land. It really reminds me a lot of Hard Rain, the song maybe even Fourth Time Around. You know, and he says here, you made it there somehow. You're a big girl now. So it's almost like he's pointing directly back to her, though she tells him that you're a big boy. But guess what? If you're going your way, hey, just like Dylan's mostly go your way, you go mine. It's the same situation. A change in the weather is known to be extreme, but what's the sense of changing horses in midstream? I'm going out of my mind, oh, with a pain that stops and starts. Like a corkscrew to my heart, ever since we've been apart. I just love that line. What a brilliant line. Okay, then we get another one that's kind of, ooh man, really, really one of the most powerful, gut-wrenching song, Idiot Wind. This is one of those songs, you take a step back and you're like, whoa, take some deep breaths. It's really such a, man, it's like we've been through it here, but man, he's just like directing on her. God, just what a song, man. I mean, hear this line here. I've been double-crossed now for the very last time, and I'm now finally free. I kissed goodbye to the howling beast on the borderline, which separated you from me. You'll never know the hurt I suffered, nor the pain I rise above, and I'll never know the same about you, your holiness, or your kind of love. And it makes me feel so sorry, idiot wind blowing through the buttons of our coats, blowing through the letters that we wrote, idiot wind blowing through the dust upon our shelves. We're idiots, babe. It's a wonder why we can even feed ourselves. God, man. That's Dylan. That's directness here, poignant, just directing right at her. But all the things we went through. And he has to suffer with all that crap. Just what a song. Okay, then the last song on side one is You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go. I really love this song. Has a little bit of the early Dylan influence, a little bit. And some of these beautiful lines too, just you can mount them on a just anywhere. Like this line here, flowers on the hillside blooming crazy, crickets talking back and forth in rhyme. Blue river running slow and lazy, I could stay with you forever and never realize the time. This last line, I'll look for you in old Honolulu, San Francisco. You're gonna have to leave me now, I know, but I'll see you in the sky above, in the tall grass, and the ones I love. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go. Just what a good song. Okay, then we get Meet Me in the Morning. This is kind of a bit of a country bluesy flavor track here. Really has a little bit of Planet Waves, that sort of sound. And maybe it's about, other than just breaking up, other than just, oh man, babe, look what we've been through here. There's a little bit of a different you know, kind of a different vibe or whatever. Um, yeah, it says they stay the darkest hours right before the dawn. And I just love the way he phrases dawn. And even in, I really love, and one thing about this album, which is brilliant, is that Dylan's phrasing here, like a simple twist of fate, like he'll, like right before he says, but right before he'll get into simple twist of fate, like right, like he'll say a line, like for instance, um, when he says, "'Twas then he felt alone and wished that he'd gone straight," he'll go up there with that note. And, idiot win. Like when he says idiot, like it's just really, like he wants your attention here. Um, but yeah, just like I said, going back to Meet Me in the Morning, and even this line, every day's been darkness since you've been gone. So there's a little bit of, Dylan just seems so dark here. He's so just, what's happening here? And there's a few songs with Dylan, saying morning, like New Morning, even though it's kind of a more pleasant song. But then, of course, you got One Too Many Mornings, and that's kind of a, really painful song. But I do love that song, Brilliant. I really love this drumming style on here. Really great song. Okay, and then Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts. This is about 8 minutes long here. And it really reminds a little bit of Frankie Lee, Judas Priest, where it just seems like he's kind of, coming up with a story here. I'm not going to really I'm not going to really read the lyrics here on this song, but it really is a nice, hopping, bouncy song. Really being a little bit derivative here, a little bit, like he's telling a story here. I mean, I feel like it's kind of a little bit like, I guess, the black sheep of the album, but I think not like it's anything bad or anything, but it's a nice song. That's all I can say. Okay, and then the next song is "If You See Her, Say Hello," a beautiful acoustic song here from Dylan, recorded in Minneapolis. And I really love this last verse here. It's really good. Sundown, yellow moon, I replay the past. I know every I know every scene by heart. They all went by so fast. If she's passing back in this way, I sure hope she don't. Tell her she can look me up. I'll either be here or I won't. It's a really nice, simple, very, 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 very short song. It's a really nice, beautiful song. Maybe once again, like blonde on blonde a little bit. Okay, then we get Shelter from the Storm. I really love this song. It's really nice, like I really love the rhythm here in the song, and it really reminds me a lot, like I said, from You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go, and maybe even A Simple Twist of Fate. It's really just bare here. Really great song. "'Twas in another lifetime, one of toil and blood, when blackness was virtue and the road was full of mud. I came in from the wilderness in a creature void of form. Come in." And she said, "I'll give you shelter from the storm." Really love his vocals there on that. And just the ending verse, like I said, hunted like a crocodile, ravaged in the corn. Once again, it just seems like a girl or whoever is dragging in, tell him, "Hey, I'll comfort you. I'll give you all this bliss. And then the last song here, "Buckets of Rain." This was recorded in New York City. And this is a really great ending track. What a great way to button up this whole album, as you can just kind of, flow through the songs here and listen to them in sequence just to get to this song here, "Buckets of Rain," which, I feel like Dylan hadn't really. I mean, it's not like he didn't mean to, have the album as like a, flowing it to get to the end, to kind of, I don't know, I guess just to be like, oh, look what we ended up. So yeah, Buckets of Rain really reminds me a lot of Desolation. I mean, not that the song reminds me of Desolation Row, but just the ending. Just how everything wraps up from Tangled Up in Blue to Buckets of Rain, and it's just like Highway 61 with Like a Rolling Stone and Desolation Row. Um, it just seems like the narrator's relieving. He's been frustrated. He's been through all this stuff that's been through here. That look what we've been through here, and now he's kind of accepting the fallout, and just saying, hey, I think we're through, we're done. I'm just gonna just accept what what we went through, and the frustrations, and just all the just all the arguments we went through and stuff. Life is sad, life is a bust. All you can do is what you must. You do what you must do, and you do it well. I'll do it for you, honey baby, can't you tell? Wow, what a great ending verse, and what a great, fantastic, perfect album, start to finish. Blood on the tracks. I know for some reason the camera's been kind of blurry here. There you go. And what could be said? Just a fantastic album. But anyways, take care, folks. Bye bye.